Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about the top 10 Espers that you guys hate. I'm just kidding. These top 10 Espers ruin the balance of the game by a crazy amount. So the mere fact that they exist in the game, or you see them in a specific comp, or you see them used in certain content, that completely puts you off the game, and that completely makes you feel like, wow, this game is freaking imbalanced. This is not fun anymore. I hate it so much. This is toxic. Now there are going to be about 3 or 4 Espers that you guys already know will be in this list, but I just want to mention a few Espers who will not be in this list and why that is the case. So really quickly, the first Esper that will not make this list is actually Gaius. Now this is going to come as a surprise to some of you guys, but maybe not so much for most of you guys right now. The reason why Gaius is no longer, I think, that broken or that game-changing is not because he's free, but while he's still really good, he doesn't excel a lot in leaderboard content. So players are not going to be like, oh my god, that guy is using a Gaius, this is going to piss me off so much. No, that's not going to be a case anymore because all of these content currently have turn limits, which really sucks. So Espers like Gaius and Sienna, they are really heavily scuffed right now. Even Espers like Anasidora, even though Anasidora don't really matter all that much for leaderboard stuff. But yeah, because of all these artificial restrictions, this inherently scuffed Gaius by a huge margin. So for example, even in Chronos, right, you will no longer see Gaius comps being like the top few in the leaderboard. You will only see Leora because Leora kind of performs similarly. Now for the most part, even though Gaius is a lot stronger and a harder hitter than most of the Espers in this game, he is not going to be as relevant anymore, at least in terms of leaderboard content. Now the second Esper who will not make this list is going to be Ashley. Ashley, I feel like is just an all-around very good Esper. Yes, she is very strong in PvP, and the moment you see her in a defense comp, you kind of want to think twice about using a speed cleave comp. I get it. But I think in general, she's still quite tame as opposed to the 10 Espers that I have on this list. And the third and fourth Espers, they are going to be Lian and Hilda R6. Now the reason why Lian is not going to make the list even in PvP is because she kind of works on an RNG, right? And the thing is, if you have AoE speed cleaves, like for example use Gaius, Ashley, Raven, you are definitely going to be able to power through regardless. So I know the RNG might suck for you, but that's going to be not super often. So it's not as if she is impossible to deal with. And as for Hilda, it's pretty straightforward. Just run an immunity set at the start and you're going to be okay. And I'm not talking about immunity on all of your Espers. I'm talking about immunity on your fastest Esper who can also provide immunity. So I'm talking about Espers like Clara or Unas or even Gabrielle. And now for the fifth and final Esper who will not make this list, and I must say that there are just many really good Espers who will not make this list, and that fifth and final Esper is going to be Unas. Big surprise. So he really fell off in terms of every single thing. Like it wouldn't really matter to you that someone else had an Unas. Like okay, he's probably gonna be faster than you. It's not really a problem all the time because you might have an Ashley, or like for example in holo battles they're running an Unas comp. Who cares, right? Speed cleaves isn't really that strong nowadays. I mean, yes, the Unas Xuan Pin Tevor combo is really still quite sick in holo battles, but honestly, who really cares about holo battles, right? So Unas is not going to make the list. Anyway, let's move on to the top 10 Espers who make the game extremely unfair and extremely unbalanced. Let's just quickly go through the Espers that are obvious choices here. So the first is going to be Feng Nussy. Not so much for PvE content because in terms of players beating content easily, it's not going to be leaderboard related content. So it's not going to naturally affect other players. It's going to make some players do Infinity Tower a lot easier. It's going to make some players do Temporal Tower a little bit easier. But apart from that, not much else. Like in terms of Ritual Miracles, no use over there. Dislyte Lens, no use over there. Celestial Anomaly, not a lot of use. So she's not really like a be all and all in terms of PvE content. But in terms of PvP content, yes, absolutely. The moment she takes a turn, bam, she throws her third skill, that fully, okay, wouldn't fully cooldown extend, but 2 turns of cooldown extend, that is enough to wreck any team up. So she is completely bonkers, and to date, I don't think the devs have any intention whatsoever in nerfing her. And no, nerfing is a really hot take, I understand that. But the thing is, this 2 turns of cooldown extension, I think it should have just been like 1 turn, and that's it. Like 1 turn that would have been much too powerful, but it's still counterable, so you can use like Ahmed to deal with this. But her kit is just completely busted, from her cooldown extensions to her cooldown resets to her AP pushing to her AP reducing, and at R2 she also steals buff on her first skill, which is insane. So her entire kit is just broken, but you guys already knew that. So let's move on to the next Esper. That is going to be Xuan Pin in both PvP and PvE content. So you guys already know, when you see a Xuan Pin in PvE, you kind of feel like, okay, there is really no point competing in this content anymore. Like Dislyte Lens, for example, Xuan Pin is just every freaking where. And maybe in certain ritual content as well. Like you have APEP, you have some Chronos runs as well. Xuan Pin is always in the top of the leaderboards, and that really sucks for a lot of players who, you know, you just want to compete with everyone else fair and square, but the fact that they have a Xuan Pin, that completely ruins all of your chances, especially in the trials as well. So in all the trials, she has always been a consistent player in the top leaderboards. And for players without a Xuan Pin, you can completely say goodbye to a lot of all of these content. Your Dislyte Lens is completely gone, your Ritual Miracles completely gone, your Trials completely gone, Celestial Anomaly as well, completely gone. So it is Espers like Xuan Pin with all of these ridiculous buffs, right? All these attack buffs, horse buff, cannon buff, the soldier buff, and the chariot buff. Everything that pushes DPS. Everything about her is just completely broken. I mean, I haven't even talked about her defense break as well. So yeah, that would be Xuan Pin as a second Esper. But you guys also already knew that. Now the third Esper is actually one Esper that I do not have, and he has even received a nerf very recently, and that Esper is definitely going to be Tevor. Okay, so Tevor is also one of those universal Espers who excel in a lot of PvE content and a lot of PvP content. So the thing is, as an R0 Esper, he is still really good in PvE. You can use him in Celestial Anomaly, you can use him in Ritual Miracles, you can use him in Desolate Lands, a lot of different content where he shines in, and you will see him being used in all of the top 50 leaderboard players. And now you guys already know why he's so strong, but the thing is, in PvP, especially at R2, he actually gains a 100% crit. Okay, not a 100% crit chance, but he always guarantees a crit. So in PvP, one of his main weaknesses was to use an Everett to tank his attack, because his AI is just probably going to attack an Everett with the highest attack. But at R2, he guarantees a crit all the time, so he's never going to miss crit an Everett, which makes him completely decimate all tanky comps, right? He's just going to one-tap everything. And even in RTA as well, when he steals AP with his third skill and he takes a kill as well, he's just going to keep on Nico gift boxing everything, right? So really, really broken. And on top of that, he also has this thing of a chance of taking critical hits minus 100%. This makes him so tanky, especially even against certain cleaving comps, because you're not going to be able to receive any crit, which gives you a really good chance of survival, and then you can turn to cleave afterwards, even if your team is slower. So this makes his kit really, really, really crazy. Okay, so those were the obvious choices. Let's move on to some probably less obvious choices. Now the first Esper is going to be Jin Yuyao. I feel like this Esper single-handedly ruined PvP for a lot of players. So the fact that she has this passive that consistently removes debuffs from all of her allies, and even her third skill as well that returns all kinds of debuffs back to the enemy, she single-handedly nullified 99% of all possible debuff comps in the game. And this, in my opinion, was a terrible mistake. Her entire design was a terrible mistake. She made so many Espers irrelevant in PvP, wherein without her, we could have run many different comps. We could have Javid comps, we could have Embla comps, I mean Embla still works. We could have Jiangman comps, we could have a lot of different comps. We could have full control comps as well. So many different types of team synergies were ruined just because of Jin Yuyao, and she makes PvP a really, really terrible place. Like, the only kinds of PvP comps that you see nowadays is either a speed cleave defense, which you're going to be outsped by, or a tanky comp with a Jin Yuyao, and you're just like, okay, I'm not even going to be able to debuff this comp. So because of her, she makes so many Espers irrelevant in PvP, and that's why I hate her so much, and that's why she's on the list. Now the next Esper that will make this list is going to be Tiye. I know she's kind of free to play, so a lot of players are going to get her anyway. But the reason why she makes this list is because she is right now extremely, extremely necessary. Without a Tiye, you're probably not going to excel that much. And the thing is, if an enemy Tiye takes a turn, boom, that's it. You more or less lost, because number one, she AP swapped your fastest Esper away, and number two, she's going to AP control your entire team like crazy. So there is really no way you can come back from a faster Tiye who has taken a turn. You pretty much already lost because she moved just once. That is how insane she is. Because let's not forget, she also has stuns on her second skill, and at R2 she's able to absorb and push her own allies' AP. That is so freaking powerful, and right now they actually buffed her a little bit, if you guys didn't already know. So they actually buffed her a little bit, and now she actually works with the Avatara set, which means she's able to push your team's AP whenever she counterattacks as well, which makes her increasingly strong in PvP, and I mean of course in PvE and all that, but she's not really that unbalanced in PvE leaderboard content, so I don't really want to talk about that. But yeah, in terms of PvP, the moment she moves, that's it. And now the next Esper is going to be Chuan. You guys already know this, so if you do not have an R2 Chuan, chances are when you look at new content, you're going to feel like, okay, I don't even want to be bothered doing this content, because there are players who have a Chuan and they're just going to do like 10 times the amount of damage that I can do just because they have a Chuan in their lineup. And that is indeed true. So Chuan is so disgusting and so broken, and for the fact that he's an R2 Esper makes it a lot worse. So he's the best in slot for all different kinds of Celestial Anomaly comps. He's also the best in slot in a lot of different trials, and he's also the best in slot in Fafnir and I mean some other PvE stuff. But for the most part, his addition to the game really ruined the balance. Like, there is very little reason why you want to use other Espers, like even Hall for example, right? There's very little reason why you want to use Hall unless you're using both Chuan and Hall at the same time. So his addition completely removed the necessity of different Espers. And now moving on down the list, we have Embla. So you guys already know, pretty much similar to Chuan, the moment you see an Embla in certain trial content or anything with a leaderboard, chances are you're gonna be screwed, especially if you do not have your own Embla. So at R2, she makes trial content like extremely brain dead. She becomes so powerful, dealing so much damage and gaining so much score for your team. It is remarkable that players are even thinking of doing those content without her in the first place. And even though she is bugged right now that her corrupted seed do not actually gain stacks due to poison DPS, she is already still incredibly broken, right? So imagine what will happen if they actually fix her and allow her to proc off poison stacks, for example. That will make her really much busted. Now, the main reason why she is so broken is if you run her manually, you can effectively use her to like 3 times the potential that she would have been when you run her on auto. So she becomes very powerful, especially when you have the right setup running her on manual. That will allow you to clear the leaderboard super quickly, and that will allow you to beat many different players who have designed really good comps, but they just simply don't compare to an Embla comp. But that's pretty much PvE in my opinion. Those are all the Espers for PvE. Let's talk about some of the other Espers that ruin the game in PvP. Not Ophelia, definitely not. That Esper is going to be Sally. Okay, so Sally, unlike Hilda and what's her face, Lian, at R6 I feel like Sally is more impactful because she instantly starts off with damage mitigation for your entire team. So whenever they take a turn afterwards, they're also going to get themselves healed and they're also going to get their debuffs removed. So she's incredible in protecting her team, especially against speed cleaves. You can essentially think of her as single-handedly removing one of your cleaving Espers just because of the damage mitigation that she provides, which is 25%. So I feel like due to her consistency, and she's not like, you know, Lian with the 25% miss rate, instead she's just straight up 25% damage mitigation, I feel like she definitely damaged PvP a lot more than it seemed. I mean, okay, everyone definitely understands that her R6 ruined PvP, but unless you have a Xuan Pin comp, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to bypass a Sally comp. I mean, it is still going to be possible, it's just very difficult, and you definitely need some very premium Espers to be used in the first place. Now, next Esper, 100% Ethan. This is, in my opinion, one of the top few Espers who needs to be deleted from the game. I'm serious about this. Now, the thing is, at R2, he's already insane, and at R6, he is unthinkably insane. In fact, in my opinion, I feel like he is the #1 Esper in this game right now that needs to be deleted. And the reason is this. His R2 allows him to throw his magic tune at the start, which means you gain 20% crit rate, you gain 20% crit damage, you reduce the chance of taking critical hits by 20%, which is not the main thing. The main thing is the speed advantage that he provides to your entire team. So you will see that all defenses in Point War 16, 17, and 18, as long as they want to be competitive in their speed cleave defense, they will always have an R2 Ethan, and it is essential that you have an R2 Ethan. If not, you're not going to be able to compete in the speed meta at all. And I find that to be completely garbage. This is completely stupid because there are many other things, right? So not only is he giving you the speed advantage, he is also giving you so much other advantage in terms of damage output and protection from critical hits, and he also has immunity on his kit, and he has defense break on his second skill with the panic gaze as well for cooldown resets. Extremely disgusting. I have no idea why they even designed his kit in the first place and put him into the game when his entire kit is so broken and so overtuned. Did I say overtuned? I mean magic tune. I don't mind Ashley, I don't mind Gaius because these Espers are pretty much replaceable, they are interchangeable, they are really good, but they are not like the only Esper you need to use in a cleaving comp. It's just Ethan, man, I really hate him so much. And now, the final Esper in this video is going to be Cang Ji, not at R2, but at R6. Now, the reason why him being at R6 is a problem is mostly because of RTA content. And I mean, in terms of point war and knockout as well, he's definitely a major powerhouse. So right now, instead of just swapping one AP, you actually swap the AP of all the allies who are lower AP than the highest AP enemy, which means your entire team just gets pushed to the front, right? So long as you outspeed the enemy, you're going to push all your Espers up to the AP level of their fastest ally, which is usually maybe like their Unas or their Clever or whatsoever. So your entire team has like 90-something% AP just because he swapped AP with his R6 effect over here. Insane, completely broken stuff, and in RTA, this gives you so much of an advantage because turn advantage in RTA is really huge, and of course on top of that, there is the HP swapping that he does, which, yeah, it just makes him a completely busted Esper, especially at R6. So anyway, these are the 10 Espers in my opinion who have completely broken the game, and they have made balancing extremely difficult. And at this point, it's like almost impossible. How are you going to nerf all of these really top tier Espers without having a massive backlash from the players, right? It's almost going to be impossible. So the thing is, if you're going to be releasing more power crap Espers in a response to all of these already broken Espers, then the game is not going in the right direction because we are just going to enter a power creep meta which shouldn't even exist in the first place. I feel like games like Summoner's War or Dislyte or Epic 7, there should not be power creep in these games. There should just be meta shifting Espers who would change the landscape a little bit, but not be like, okay, you have this Esper and you naturally win at certain content, or you naturally scale the leaderboard, or you naturally just dominate everyone else. That shouldn't be the case. And the balancing in Dislyte is absolutely garbage right now, and I do hope that they have some form of rebalancing. And I hate to say this, but even if it hurts the player base, myself included, there needs to be certain balances for the game to even be remotely strategic, right? So if you have any of these 10 Espers, chances are you are naturally already going to win the game in certain aspects. And I personally don't feel like that is very healthy for the game. But yeah, at this point, I don't think it's possible to rebalance these Espers downwards. So I'm actually very curious to see how Dislyte takes the game moving forward. Anyway, what other Espers do you think should have been part of this list that I did not mention? So leave your comments down in the comment section below in case I missed some of these Espers. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Tevor to play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.